Time now for the Daily Answer, sponsored by Salem Surround on The Answer Now TV.
Incidentally, I shared with you yesterday a story of some friends of mine who got COVID. Their doctor prescribed Paxlovid. You see all those commercials everywhere. Hey, if it's COVID, it's Paxlovid, right? It's supposed to be a very effective medicine. And I Googled it and looked it up, and Grok and ChatGPT saves lives, right? Do you know what Paxlovid costs? Do you know how much you have to fork out in order to get that drug from the pharmacy? And I looked it up. It costs between $3 and $5 per tablet. I've been telling you a lot about our friends at Conservatives for Lower Healthcare Costs. I want to bring back a pollster, very respected in his field, John McLaughlin. John McLaughlin is the CEO and partner of McLaughlin and Associates, and he is on board with what Conservatives for Lower Healthcare Costs are doing. He's going to join us next because, look, we've got to get these out-of-control, runaway prescription drug prices under control, and you can be a big part of that. John McLaughlin, representing Conservatives for Lower Healthcare Costs, coming up here on the Mike Gallagher Show.
Mike Gallagher.
I'm really glad to partner with Conservatives for Lower Healthcare Costs because this is an issue that really strikes to the core of how many Americans are struggling. It's it's big pharma and their out of control pricing. Let's welcome back to the show a guy who has over 35 years of experience in political polling, strategic consulting. He's a seasoned pollster. His name is John McLaughlin. John, good to see you. Welcome back. Happy New Year, sir.
Good morning, Mike. And yes, it's a good year. So Donald Trump is getting things moving. So
he sure is. I mean, I think we're in for a really good year. I do want to share with you, though, a personal story, and it ties right into what Conservatives for Lower Healthcare Costs is doing. I got a couple of friends of mine in New York, older couple. They both got COVID. Doctor prescribed Paxlovid, which is said to be a really important, very useful anti-COVID medication. $1,600, John, for a 5-day regimen without insurance. With their Medicare, $800. He told me the other night, hey, I don't have $800 laying around for 5 days worth of medicine. I'll just have to get sick. I'll just have to stay sick. This is the kind, and that's Pfizer, and it's Paxlovid. You see the ads everywhere. If it's COVID, it's Paxlovid. I mean, is there any conceivable way that it's normal to charge people that kind of money for a very important prescription medication?
No, and that's why President Trump, because he knows it. By the way, everybody has stories like this. Everybody can tell stories about some drug that they felt they were getting overcharged for, that they just don't think it's right. And that's why Americans, they support 73% to 20%. We took a survey in December, 1,600 likely voters going to vote in the midterm, modeled after national turnout. 73 to 20, they support President Trump's efforts to lower prescription drug prices. You know, and that's what he's doing. He's making these drug companies, if they develop these drugs and they're selling them cheaply overseas, they got to sell them to the same price for Americans. So they got to lower their prices. And you're right. They blame the drug companies when we gave them choices about, you know, whether it's insurance companies, whether it's these benefit managers, and whether it's other influences on the cost. 73% said it was the pharmaceutical companies themselves. They blame the pharmaceutical companies, and because they're a powerful lobby. And then you get the prescription drug prices. People affordability. 93 to 5, they agree that lowering prescription drug prices are essential to making healthcare more affordable in America.
Wow.
And that's what the president is doing. So go ahead.
I want to ask you about the political component, because the fact is that Democrats and Republicans have decidedly different approaches. Democrats believe, and the big pharma lobbyists believe, that more government control is the answer. However, I think your firm's polling shows that most Americans reject government overreach. They want less government in the process.
Right.
They want, the decisions about prescription benefits made by the employers, not big government.
Right. And you're exactly right. So that's what President Trump is doing. And when we asked about supporting candidates that would protect, like employers can make choices to lower the healthcare costs for their employees, because most people still get their healthcare covered by either private insurance or by Medicare. And 3-1, 50-17, they're more likely to vote for a candidate who supports protecting these choices, so that would happen. And they oppose like these it's something that they're doing in Washington where they would say mandated savings through where they're going to give the money back to the employers instead of the consumers. And 62-23 voters oppose that. But they're really concerned about the government getting more involved in the marketplace, where 85% are concerned that it would increase healthcare costs, where the monthly premiums go up. 83% are concerned that it would increase taxpayer costs, where government, when Medicare pays for something, it's the taxpayers that are paying for it. Medicaid pays for something, we're paying for it. 80% are concerned that it's supported by the big drug companies, big pharmaceutical. And these are all voters. This is Republicans, Democrats, Independents. And they're concerned. 75% are concerned that the government's going to limit options for employers and consumers. So, so your sentiment there, the way you open this, that's the way the average person feels. And that's why they support what President Trump is doing to reduce drug prices so that the average consumer feels it. And because we know from our national polls that economic issues such as inflation, such as cost of living, rising prices, those are the top issues. And and besides food at the marketplace, et cetera, it's the healthcare costs that they're really concerned about. So they're running like 1 and 2 on the levels of their concerns.
John, we often talk about issues as 80-20 issues, and you're polling, and you've got one of the best polling organizations in the country. Your polling is showing this is clearly an 80-20 issue, and everybody can get involved. Everybody needs to go to pharmawindfall.com and let your voice be heard. Be part of the solution, not the problem. And thanks to people like John McLaughlin, the truth is being revealed. Go to pharmawindfall.com today and join Conservatives for Lower Healthcare Costs. That's pharmawindfall.com. John McLaughlin, thanks very much for spending some time with us. Keep fighting the good fight.
Thank you, Mike, and make sure your friend gets well. And hopefully, as long as Donald Trump is president, you can say good things about what polling.
Amen. You got from your lips to God's ears. Thanks, John. A lot more coming up on a busy breaking news Thursday. I want you to, I think we're in insurrection territory. And if you haven't heard some breaking news, President Trump is threatening the Insurrection Act. We'll see what you think about that and a whole lot more coming up.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel. Stay informed anytime, anywhere with the Salem News Channel and 9:30 a.m. TheAnswer.com. This has been The Daily Answer, sponsored by Salem Surround on The Answer Now TV.